Max, is it good for the race that the fourth boss is somewhat of a wall? Do you mean like for the health of the game or the race specifically? Or like, I mean, for the race, it's pretty easy, right? Like the race, you just want to watch the best guilds in the world do super hard bosses, right? Like, I think an ideal version of the race, if you were to like craft it and it not affect the gameplay of the rest of the game, right? Which is not exactly how World of Warcraft works. If you were to craft that, right? It would be just like 8 really fucking hard bosses, right? If it was just about the race, that's what people want to watch. They want to watch the best guilds in the world do really hard, cool, fun bosses. I think the argument is it good for the game that Stix is like this? Now, it's kind of interesting, right? So, Brood Twister was really interesting last year because the first 4 bosses were so easy that guilds were on Brood Twister that are like world rank 300 at the same time as Liquid was. That was really strange, right? But like right now, it's interesting. Stix is actually one boss earlier in the raid, but I don't know how many people are even on Stix. You know? Like, it's 2 days left in the reset. There's not that many guilds even on Stix. And I would be willing to bet, yeah, 5 guilds, right? So, like, when Blizzard talks about creating an experience for the race and not having it affect other guilds, it's possible that Stix is an even bigger egregious mistake than Brood Twister, where it's, like, too hard for the spot it is in the raid. It's one boss earlier and probably just as hard as Brood Twister. But, like, the issue with Brood Twister was that people were fighting it that had no chance. I don't think that's true with Stix. Like, almost no one is going to fight Stix that doesn't have a chance. And I think it's extremely likely on the reset that this boss gets sent to the Shadow Realm, by the way. I'm pretty sure Stix is going to get just demolished on the reset. It's going to be crazy, crazy nerfed. In a way, is that bad? Like, is that bad for the game? If Stix is in a killable, fair, normal version, if any boss is in a killable, fair, normal version for when guilds get to it, it can kind of be as hard as you want it to be for the race. It's just certain raids you kind of have to pick and choose where those bosses are. Now, I'm not defending them. Like, I want to make this perfectly clear. I love hard bosses. I want to do hard bosses. I think the harder the raid is, the better chance we have to win. I think last race definitely showed that. All of those things. Okay. Stix is very clearly too hard for a 4th boss, right? We can say both of those things can be true. I'm not complaining, but it's just objectively, like, that's not a 4th boss at all. You know? So, I don't know. I just feel like they need a heroic week. That's all. I feel like the tuning's a little off. Feel like there's classes. I mean, what have they been? Bro, they've made it a vision for the last, like, couple expansions. Like, every time a new season comes out, they make a habit of nerfing old trinkets so they're not good anymore. They make a habit of nerfing old tier and buffing new tier if you're not wearing it. These are things that have basically all not only been their goals, but they've achieved them in, like, basically every season when it comes out. You have people using Transmitter as their best in slot right now. You have people using Spy Masters. You have multiple classes not equipping full heroic tier of a new tier. I'm not talking normal. They are not equipping heroic, fully upgraded tier over their previous tier set. And not to call them out, but we fucking told them this. We like, they ask us for, like, some information, like, hey, do you guys run into any bugs? You know, like, what do you guys think? You guys do a lot of work on tuning. Like, what's your opinion on class balance right now? You know? And we told them, like, hey, there's a couple specs. Here's the exact specs. They're not going to wear your new tier that you've designed for them. It didn't do anything, you know? I mean, they're either just, like, hella behind or I don't know what the fuck's going on. Rushed patch or something. Raid's fun, though. Which is all I care about. But Max, how is the impact of mental find on a boss of a wall so early? I mean, just listen to us raid, man. Max, but isn't this the 4th boss because you chose it? Couldn't it have been the 6th? No, it could have been the 5th. Could have been either this or Sprocket. By the way, I actually think it is likely that Sprocket is easier than Stix. Just gonna toss that out there. I think it is likely that Sprocketmonger is easier. But there's a reason that none of the guilds have gone to it yet. Is it a sunk cost thing? No. I explained it earlier. And the reason is, we're all pulling an execution-heavy boss right now that we showed last night before we went to bed, before they started rating that it was killable. Okay? We've already done all the legwork. We figured out the 3 tanking versus 2 tanking, the 4 healing versus 3 healing, the daughters versus the single target balance. We did all of it. We figured it all out before they even started on the boss. So you have this roadmap to a boss that you know is killable, but it's an execution check. Right? Do you choose to pull that? Or do you choose to pull, if you're one of the other guilds, not us, Echo Method, or do you choose to pull Sprocketmonger, kill it or not, doesn't matter if you kill it, but then allow us to wake up and kill the execution heavy boss that you have to do anyway, but now you've just showed us, you've just done the problem solving for us. In general, in the raid, the best thing you can possibly do is, if you can ever do this, is being the problem solver is inefficient. Other guilds will get relatively better time than you because they're going to get all the answers before they have to ask the questions themselves, right? So those two guilds waking up and doing Sprockamonger, even if they thought it was easier, would just be giving us all the answers, which would help us. But them, if you think about it, both things help each guild the same when you're thinking about just their guild, but doing Sprockamonger helps the other guilds. That's why no one's doing Sprockamonger. Isn't FSY doing Sprockamonger? Yeah, but Fat Shark's not in the race, though. Like, I'm talking like a guild that's trying to get world first. Like, Fat Shark, yes, is competing in their own bracket, and they're just, like, doing the raid. They raid, like, 5 hours a night, 7 days a week, maybe 6 days a week. But they're not competing for world first, right? I'm talking about the 3 guilds that are competing for world first. Fat Shark, yes, is good, though. That's not Flame. That's just stating the obvious. Max, did you think Echo would have killed it when you woke up? No. I was hoping that Echo did Sprocket. Like, I was hoping Echo pulled Sprocket and killed it, or pulled Sprocket and not killing it, doesn't matter. But I was hoping that Echo or Method chose to do Sprocket all day. That would have been extremely good for us. But both of them did not do that. They did like 4 pulls for weak auras. Yeah, we did all of our weak aura testing during Heroic. That's why we haven't pulled Sprocket yet. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like pulling the boss and problem solving it. Doing 7 pulls for weak auras is not pulling the boss, if that makes sense. Why would they give you free info? That would be stupid. Now, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. But earlier, people were asking why no one has gone to Sprocket. So what you think is obvious is not obvious. A lot of the chat doesn't really understand that side of it.